My guest today is Therese Forton Barnes, and she goes by T. So T is going to talk to us about low or no tox lifestyle, and she has her own business, and she's got an overhead business. Like she is all about this green living, and I'm so thrilled that T, you are here to talk to us about this because this is something that is very important to me personally. I am working toward getting the toxins out of my world. So thank you so much for being here. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. And so your overhead company, we were just talking about this, is the Green Living Gurus, and that's your LLC, and everything else falls into that. But you said that you have a blog, you have a podcast called Green Living with Tea, and that's Tee, you guys. So Green Living
Right.
with Tea podcast, and then your business is Teas Organics. But so how did this is a big undertaking because there's so many chemicals in everything at the store and it just in life in general. Like there's just chemicals in everything, and your goal is to get those out. So how did you come to that? And then tell us about Teas Organics, actually.
Yeah, for sure. So, my background really, to understand how I got to where I am today is I was born and raised in the 60s. I am now 61. And I have three older sisters and a younger brother. And my mother was way ahead of her time and wanted us to always eat healthy food, always had organic food on the table, always fresh fruit, fresh everything, no processed. She was Italian and Lebanese, and her mother and father cooked from scratch. That's what she knew. We cleaned with baking soda and vinegar. Even we'd use paper, newspapers to clean the windows. So we had chores every weekend. And toilets, we used baking soda. So that's how I grew up. I didn't know any better. My mother used to work and also shop at our little tiny co-op here that had all of these products. Mind you, they were not many back then, but she was adamant about us not eating processed foods when everybody was going to Burger King and McDonald's and pizza and TV dinners for that matter. So growing up, that's how I grew up. And once I got a little bit older, I started realizing we were kind of abnormal. And then people would, label us as granola heads. So I'm born and raised in Buffalo, New York, and I went to college in Central New York State at Ithaca College. And I wanted to open up a supermarket that was like the co-op, but was bigger, and everybody could see what a great lifestyle this was and how healthy it was. Now, that was the 80s. I graduated in 85. I had a business plan. I had a major in business and minor in health. And my model in my supermarket was what everybody knows as Whole Foods.
Mhm.
I had nothing to do, unfortunately, with Whole Foods. I came out as a party planner from college. I was the party planner in high school. I was a party planner in college. That industry was just coming to be in the 80s and it exploded, and I had my own business. So, but I never lost sight of what my true passion in life really was. And that was to help people understand what I grew up with, what I knew. I studied, I constantly read books. I studied all of the people that were leading this movement, which was very unknown to everybody. I mean, people thought I was absolutely insane and crazy. Now they're all coming back to me and thanking me in college. Wow, you got us to realize, we shouldn't be using this laundry detergent with all this, junk in it and fake fragrance in it. And that's rewarding to me when people come back and thank me and tell me that they learned something from what I know. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but I've learned from scientists, from doctors, many different people I've studied and taken courses from. And so here I am in 2020, prior to the pandemic, actually, and I planned over 700 events. I had helped so many people. I'd gone through people's homes. I've some cancer patients would come to me and say, would you come to my house and just show me what could be causing the cancer that I have, or potentially causing it, or show me, what is in my home. So I loved doing that for people. I wasn't getting paid or anything for that. It's really my passion in my life. And I decided in 2020, I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing this, because I was doing it on the side. I planned enough events at that time. I think I was 58 or something. And I was ready. So I started Green Living Gurus, and I didn't know where it was going to take me. And then I started a podcast, and then I got my Teas Organics line going, because primarily my signature product at Teas Organics is my all-purpose cleaner, because that's what I clean with. That's what I cleaned with when I was a kid. That's what my grandparents cleaned with. That's who we are. So I started marketing that, and it's very small right now. Anybody can buy it in the United States or Canada, but it's just what I've done for the past 4 years. And that's really my mission, is to get as many people to understand, realize that the chemicals that we are using in our everyday products, in our homes to clean with, in the food that we're eating, in the personal care products, are overwhelmingly filled with these chemicals that can be avoided. Do I avoid them all? No. I'm coloring my hair, but I find the best, cleanest product to do that with. Do I once in a while put nail polish on? Yes, but I will use nail polish that I know doesn't have toluene in it, for an example, that is known as a carcinogen. So you do your best. Some people just can't give up certain things. And you pick and choose. And slowly, what I find is, once you start to eliminate one item here, one item there, you take it slow, maybe you start in the kitchen, there's things that you can do to really lower your toxic load. And that's what you ultimately want to do, because our bodies can't handle all these chemicals. Our organs are inundated. And that's when people's immune systems are weakened. And that's when you start seeing all these mysterious illnesses coming out, because they are trying to fight off and fend off all these chemicals. And there's over 80,000 chemicals in our society right now. And the United States is the worst at it. And we are not eliminating any. There's only been 11 chemicals disallowed by our government, as opposed to in the European Union, there's over 1,100. So we have to be our own advocates. We have to pay attention. And that's what I do. And there's a lot of us out there that are doing similar things, which I love, especially since the pandemic. The internet has really allowed us all to really speak up a lot more, and social media. So it's wonderful to see the people that I followed, how they paved the way from the 50s and 60s that my mother had us following. And it's fascinating to see, because things are changing, and everybody can make a difference in this world, in your home, and in Mother Nature.
Oh, gosh, it's so true too. I mean, I think, and I don't know why it was during the pandemic that people just became more awakened to that. I mean, do you have views on that? Like, where do you think that stemmed from?
So yes, I do have views. I stay away from all the political stuff, right? I personally think, and I sort of said this, our bodies are on such overload from toxic chemicals that these viruses are easily coming in. And there's more and more, whether it's COVID, cancer, all these autoimmune illnesses it's unbelievable to me, the amount of these diseases and illnesses that are out there. And nobody really focuses on the chemicals that are really weakening our immune system and can't fight these off.
Right.
And the way that people are using these products, maybe, and nothing against these cancer institutes. We have a huge one here. They're trying to find a cure, but what about preventing? Let's look at preventing. I've interviewed so many doctors and so many scientists. Many of them had an illness, and they finally figured it out for themselves after studying, like, whoa, what are we doing? Why am I so sick? And then after studying it and maybe getting his blood work done, somebody I'm specifically thinking of here, he had Hashimoto's, and all he was trained for was to give himself medication. That's what the medical community is really trained for. Nothing against them. Love our doctors. Unfortunately, they have 6 hours typically in training of living a healthier life or preventing or looking primarily at the root cause. So if you have an illness, you go to the doctor, they're going to say, oh, here's a pharmaceutical drug to take. Well, that's not helping. You're not going to get better with that. It's
Right.
going to be a Band-Aid. Why do you have these symptoms? What is it? Even diabetes, for that matter. I've interviewed a few people that were diabetic and realized, whoa, I have to change my life. I'm eating crap. I'm drinking crap. I'm not exercising, all these things. I'm pre-diabetic and I'm 45 years old. So they changed their life. And sure enough, is that going to happen to everybody? I can't say that, but I just know if you start looking at what you're putting in your body, on your body, in your home, trying to eliminate that. I wish doctors these days would test us for chemicals that are inside our body, because you can be tested. I was tested, and New York State doesn't allow it, which I'm fighting that. But there are many different ways you can send in urine to a couple different companies out there, and they will send you back what chemicals are in your body. And why would I had BPA? I don't touch plastic, not touch, but you know what I mean? I don't use really plastic in our house. And I'm like, how could I have BPA in my bloodstream, which is something you do not want in your bloodstream. I was drinking coffee out of a typical drip coffee pot. That coffee pot, everything that is made with is BPA basically. So every time it heats up, K-cup, same thing. If anybody's drinking coffee out of a K-cup, horrible. You are heating up plastic to put in your coffee, and you're drinking potentially these BPAs and other chemicals. So that was like a light went off in my head. And, from there, we drink coffee out of a stainless steel French press. So that little things like that people can change in their diet to get rid of chemicals that could potentially be harming your immune system and fighting off some of these illnesses and diseases that are out there, and specifically the autoimmune ones that are just on such a rise right now. And kids too. I mean, this is across the board, and seeing children suffering and the cancer is really what gets me. My aunt died of ovarian cancer, and she used baby powder. And we attribute the baby powder to her ovarian cancer, which now there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lawsuits against the baby powder manufacturers and how it could potentially be causing ovarian cancer. So it's just being aware of everything. And I mean everything. Last night, I even learned something. Last night, I was reading something from somebody that I really look up to as well, and I follow, and she does amazing work. Her name's Leah Segedi, Leah, and then Segedi, and she has I think it's a blog. Well, it's a blog, social media, but called Momavation, and she teams up with an environmental group that is nonprofit, and they test these products. Band-Aids. Would you ever think a Band-Aid would be toxic? And I read, I'm like, oh my God, they're putting these chemicals in the Band-Aid so they're waterproof. You have an open cut. Those chemicals are going right into your sore or your skin. So I'm like, oh my God, Band-Aids. So of course I went online and I ordered the Band-Aids that she recommended and given them to our grandkids. But just, being aware of everything. That's a very hard one to ever know. But the simple ones are the reading your labels, knowing what you're storing your food in, looking at ingredients, and slowly take your time to change out your products.
Right. It doesn't have to be like all or nothing.
No, that's
Total
hard.
clean out.
Although I love doing that with people, believe me,
Oh,
I
sure.
love going through their homes. I love it. I love it. I do it remotely. I'll go to their home if they live anywhere nearby. And if they're ready, I'm ready. So
I am always ready.
I have fun with that. And I've done it many times. And it's an eye opener to everybody. I mean, it's just, you can't expect to know all this. They
Right.
don't want you to know. Manufacturers do not want you to know. They want you to still buy that product that now is in a brown packaging, right? Think it's
Right.
healthy, says using natural ingredients. You know, you never want to buy anything that says natural, by the way, because usually they're lying. And aloe vera. I'm just throwing out words, you know,
Right.
key words that they know that you think that it's healthy. So
Yeah. And I think that your points are so good as far as like prevention. So don't wait until something happens. Like be preventing that, and start thinking about it before. And also oh, what was my other thought? Uh just to be like curious, to be curious, like
yeah,
what is in this? Do I know what these ingredients are? Do I know what they do? What's their purpose? And
right.
that's sort of where I'm at right now when I'm looking at I was telling you I'm buying shampoo bars and local soaps and stuff like that. And so when I have the chance to see the ingredients list, I'm like, do I know what these things are? And that's, it's on such a simple level. Like I'm just getting started with all this, but
Right.
in like cleaning products, oh my gosh. Um,
Yeah.
but one that really, the K cups, I don't really surprise me because it's a thin plastic. But the
Yeah.
one that really surprised me was tea bags, and that just like that made my head explode. I was like, I cannot believe that people are putting plastic in tea bags, that people are sitting inside hot water, and then they're
Yeah.
putting it right into their bodies,
Yeah.
not knowing.
Yeah. I know. Crazy. As you say that, plastic, you know. How about some of the food? This drives me absolutely insane that they say it's okay to boil it in the plastic container.
Oh, like rice and stuff, the
Yeah, I've
vegetables.
seen rice.
Yeah,
I've even seen like vegetables.
with
You can put the plastic right in the hot water. I'm like, oh, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine that. I can't. But I mean, plastic, we all, not only for our health, but the amount of plastic that is being disposed of and ending up in our oceans, that's a huge problem. Fish are showing signs of many different levels of not being healthy. And we eat the fish.
right,
So they've been shown to have a lot of these chemicals and BPA in them. So we all can make a difference. And one person can make a difference. And you're making a difference in your life and knowing that you could be potentially helping out your own health, but also Mother Earth. So and passing the word on, showing by example and telling other people. That's the key. And
right.
we all can learn, and we all can learn from one another.
Right. Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, I think that yeah, my initial plan with this podcast was not to be so much a podcast, but just like learning. A friend and I were going to do a YouTube channel uh and talk to homesteaders because we really wanted to learn how to be homesteaders and like talk to homesteaders and have them teach us one skill every week. And then we take that home and try it in our lives and then report back. Like this was just way too hard. It's not something that I can do regularly, or this was totally easy. I'm taking that on. And then, if you take one thing on and do it until it feels comfortable and easy, then you can totally take something else on because it's not that big of an issue. Uh,
Right.
but I just think that I think learning from each other is really good because we're peers, right? So if someone is doing something that is not a big deal for them, you can be like, oh, maybe I could try that. I'm trying to sell everyone on shampoo bars. Like I think shampoo bars they're the bomb.
They are the bomb, and you're safe. You don't have plastic. B, they last forever. C, the ingredients in them are fabulous. They lather perfectly fine, and you're avoiding all these preservatives that they have to put into shampoo containers. So I agree. It's like a win, 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 win is with the shampoo bar, but it takes people, getting used to it. It took me a little bit too. I agree. It's like, wait, that shampoo's not in a container that I squeeze on my head.
But it's liquid. How does it lather if it's not liquid?
Exactly. It's crazy. And you know what? I want to tell you, my hair has never been healthier. And I don't have it doesn't get greasy. I feel like it's not like when I don't wash my hair for a couple days, I feel like it's still clean. It's
It's better.
crazy.
It's better for me after a couple days. The first day it's sort of
Yeah.
dry, and then a couple days later I'm like, oh wow, that looks really good.
So yes, shampoo bars for sure.
But it seems like for me, it's like it was such an easy switch because it killed me to buy it in plastic. And then
Yeah.
even if you like mail order the shampoo bars, they come in a little brown box.
Yeah, I love
Brown
that.
box
Yep.
wrapped in paper or whatever. And you're like, look at how these great things I'm doing. And then, and then if you find them locally, like even better because you're supporting your local economy.
Yeah, a lot of the markets have them and people that make them. I love it.
Yeah, and I was just recently talking to someone who the most recent shampoo bar that I bought at a farmer's market. She's she's like 45 minutes away from me, but she was telling me um I was telling her that my hair has been super dry. Just like I'm menopausal, and so the hair is getting dry, the skin is getting sensitive, and I was like, I can't even use essential oils in my, that if they have scents, it makes my head break out. And she was like, you know what you need to do? You need to do like an acid rinse. She said apple cider vinegar, or I think it's lemon juice she uses also. But
Yep.
I've been practicing, like working on making my own apple cider vinegar. So because I have a jam business, and one of the jam flavors is apple. So like all those cores and the peels that I have to take off anyway, I'm just putting them in a jar with some water and a little sugar. And so I'm making my own cider vinegar. And so
I love it.
I mix that with some water and I just put it on my head after I wash my hair. But she was like, your skin and your head and your hair are begging for the acid, for that acid, because for whatever reason, I didn't absorb all of the information she was giving me, but I've been working on that. So, just like you just gain as you get more comfortable with things, and to really
Right.
be curious. So I was not looking for that conversation, but it just happened because we were talking about the scents in the shampoo bars. And she said, I have one that's like turmeric and for inflammation, and I can't remember what else was in it, but I bought it.
I love it. I love it. Well, the chemicals in a lot of these products, preservatives, additives, some have pesticides. They can generate free radicals in our body, and which can lead to cellular damage in our body and potentially accelerate the aging process as well, breaking down collagen and elastin and leading to more wrinkles, fine lines, maybe saggy skin. And I'm bringing this up because you are approaching your menopausal years. I don't envy you whatsoever. I remember
So
those
much
days.
education and so many products to help out now.
Oh, horrible. And I think it makes it worse. And as I got even older, I was like, okay, I even wanted to avoid more chemicals because I was like, oh my God, this is going to add to the problems that I'm already trying to fight off, the aging process, menopausal, whatever. And our endocrine systems are overwhelmed with these chemicals that are in so many of these different products, such as shampoo, and there's phthalates in them, and there's parabens in them. You'll see paraben free a lot in some of the products. Unfortunately, they go paraben free and then they find another chemical to put in there, but those are all known as endocrine disruptors. And what that means is our endocrine system, our hormones, they mimic hormones, sending havoc within our system. So it interferes with our normal functioning of our hormones in our bodies. And as we all know, hormones play a crucial role in maintaining our health and vitality to our skin. So you don't want to disrupt your hormone balance, and which can potentially lead to these issues of premature aging and health issues. So personal care products, shampoo, something you always, so I'm going off on a tangent. This is my mind starts going here, but something you always want to avoid if you want to take one step in the right direction. Maybe you don't want to go to the shampoo bar yet, but you should avoid shampoo that has any fragrance in it whatsoever. You can't even handle essential oils. I could never handle fragrance in anything. Anything that has fragrance in it to me is completely filthy dirty. Whether it's your shampoo, your cleaning supplies, the number one thing that I always, first thing I say to people, if you want to start off on the right path of detoxing your home and your body and your house, and your bedroom, I meant, is laundry detergent that has fragrance in it. Number one thing to avoid. They have harsh surfactants that can irritate your skin. Allergies. People think they have allergies. They might not be allergies. It could be what you're sleeping in because your sheets are covered in chemicals. So the longer that you're exposed to all of these chemicals, it can weaken your skin's natural barrier function and making it more susceptible to health issues and damage and the aging process. So it's a lot to take in with what I just said, but it's
Just
starting
remember.
to realize baby steps. And somebody might say, oh, my laundry detergent, I've used that since I was a kid. My mother used it. I associate with that smell. Unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that is not the smell of the ocean. That is not the smell of lavender. That is not lemon fresh scent.
Clean
Those are about
linen.
dozens and dozens of chemicals they're putting together to make it smell lemony. And then on top of that, they have to pour in more chemicals to get rid of the smell of the chemicals they put in there. That is why your clothes smell like that all the time, consistently, and you never can get rid of it. Do this first step. Take your laundry, cleaning, detergents, whatever you use. Hopefully you don't use dryer sheets. If you do, I'm not even going to tell you to replace them, but I'll give you an alternative because those are loaded with harsh chemicals. And they do not have to tell you
a mile away.
Yeah, and they do not have to tell you what's in them. So take everything, put it in a box, tape it up because you don't want it outgassing in your house anymore. Because when you walk down that aisle of the supermarket, that is outgassing of chemicals that you're smelling. That's the only reason why back in the COVID, I loved having a mask on. But put them away. Don't throw them away. Just put them away. Go and buy. And first of all, you can go very better and get something fragrance free, but you can really make the best step is buy something not only fragrance free, but that doesn't have all the harsh chemicals in them. And I'll tell you, my favorite one is Molly's Suds. You can buy it on Amazon. The mother, she lost her daughter, childbirth or stillbirth, sorry, and she was a nurse and did all this research and realized that it could potentially have been prevented due to the chemicals. But here nor there, Molly Suds. If you really want to just buy something that's still at the supermarket, 7th generation is an okay step in the right direction. Don't buy their fragrance ones. I don't trust them. A new company bought 7th generation, done a lot of research. I still trust them. I'm not 100% on board with them yet. I interviewed their scientists, but anyway, Target carries them wherever you shop. I don't know. try that, start using it, see how your symptoms do after that. Are you still waking up with stuffy nose? Are your eyes watery? Do you have a little bit of a sore throat maybe? Plus, you're not only are you sleeping in these chemicals, you're wearing them all day if you're washing your clothes in them. Your house, I mean, they're outgassing in the house, and then of course they're also blowing out the vent into the outdoor air, which is also polluting our outdoor air. But I go off on laundry detergent number one, because that is the biggest area that you are inundating yourself with chemicals all day long. So you start there, you take a baby step. Why avoid the word fragrance? It is a law from the 1940s that Chanel number 5 went to our government and said, we do not want to tell anybody what's in our perfume because it's a trade secret and everybody's going to copy it. And they said, okay, you don't have to tell anybody. While that law is still in existence, if you use the word fragrance, you and I could make a product. I could make this T's Organics products, not tell you what's in it, but put the word fragrance on there. And I could throw in benzene. I could put in 40 chemicals and tell you, oh yeah, it's lemon fresh. And I do not have to tell you. I just have to put the word fragrance on there, or perfume, or perfume. And I can sell it. Personal, though, it's not regulated either, FYI. They have been starting to get exposed by a company in Connecticut that Bearshare that's been doing some testing. So some of this, it's been very interesting seeing some of the companies come forward and go, whoa, we didn't know we had benzene in our product. Well, the fragrance industry is massive, they're like the pesticide industry, huge business. They're going to fight Washington tooth and nail to not let us know what's in fragrance in all these products. So that's why I wanted to go back a little bit so people understood, like, how could they do this? Why would it be on the market? How do we know it's safe? We don't, because they do not have to tell you. They do not have to. The EPA does not test those products, and unlike food, FDA, right, has to know what's in everything. But the EPA does not test cleaning supplies. Same thing with anything you clean your house with. And a lot of people think to go the green route, the healthier route's more expensive. I 100% disagree. It's more expensive going the chemical route. You're buying a lot more products. They want you to. They want you to think you need something for the toilet, something for windows, something for the counters, something for the wood, something for the floor. I use just one, and I use a lot of just Castile soap and water. And we are the healthiest people here. We never get sick. And I don't want to say, oh, pat myself on the back. I'm just saying you have to start to realize that you're using all these products in your home. Well, our homes, according to the EPA, are 2 to 100 times more polluted than the outdoor air because of all these products we're bringing into our homes. I test people's indoor air quality all the time, and it's astounding to me what people are actually breathing in their home. And once they start seeing that and realizing, like, oh my God, I'm spraying this stuff on my counter. Where is it going? Well, it's going on your counter, but it's going in the air of your house and your dog's paws and your kids' hands. And you don't need 10 products, but you don't need all the antibacterial, antifungal, spray it, spray it, spray it, spray it, countertop, 409, Clorox, wipes. I mean, it's overwhelming to me. And I'll tell you about T's Organics. Essential oils can be antibacterial, antifungal, just to give my product a little boost. Not that I'm here to do that at all, but the ginger essential oils, the rosemary, the lemon essential oils, those are all real essential oils that have these qualities. So it's not for everybody. I understand that, but you do not need to be buying 10 products that you are using in your home to clean. They want you to think that. I mean, our generation has just been convinced you need all these chemicals. And that's why I'm so thankful for my mother, because she saw she saw what they were trying to do on all the commercials. She read, she studied, and she did what her parents did. And, you know, cancer was not evident back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s
Right.
like it is today.
So you didn't
So,
buy into in the 80s when fast food was such a big thing and
no,
the TV dinners and stuff like that. You just didn't, you never fell for it.
no, no, they wouldn't even let us have pizza.
Yeah.
And as kids, we fought them and they said, all right, we're going out to dinner. They went out to dinner every Wednesday night. And they said, that's going to be your treat. You get pizza on Wednesdays. That's it. Wouldn't made our food for school. Once in a while, she, you know, okay, you can have the tuna fish sandwich and the potato chips, whatever. But you know what, when I went to college, I had a hard time eating. I probably took 15 pounds off. I didn't add 15 because like I can't eat. Ugh, I didn't feel good. And I couldn't eat that way. And I was eating off the salad bar and, you know, things like that. But that's not how I grew up. So I was like, I'm not eating that. What is in that hamburger meat that they're putting on that white bun that they're calling a hamburger? I mean, our food was horrific back then. It's better now, but
So you didn't rebel when you went to college
no,
against that? No.
no. Now, granted, did I go to McDonald's with my friends when we were hungover? Yes, I would do that. I would have those French fries and probably the hamburger. I think I was more of the chicken person, but um, I, you know, did I go that route here and there? Yeah, I never felt good though. It never, I always felt like, oh God, I just was not
Mhm.
good. So, yeah, so then when we had our house, for junior, senior year, that's when I was like, okay, let's go shopping. Let me show everybody.
I'm gonna lay down the law here.
Like down the lot. Well, everybody bought their own food, but, it was, uh, you know, a lot easier after I was in my own house. And my mom and dad would come and actually cook all of us meals once in a while too. So that was kind of fun. But no, I couldn't because I knew how I felt.
Mhm.
It was just not feeling good. And something I tell people today, uh, still in my practice, is that people don't know they don't feel good until they start to feel better. And that's what I try to get people to understand is try to start eliminating some of these things. And you might say, oh my gosh, I do feel better. Oh, I'm sleeping through the night. My allergies, I don't sneeze all day long, or I hear a lot of the waking up with the sore throat, um, and head congestion. I hear that a lot, but you know, those are sort of minor things. You know, you don't want it to get into major things, and our bodies always are telling us something. Always. If you have a stomach ache, if you're having a hard time digesting, if you're not taking a poop at least once a day, acne, you know, I look at kids with acne and I'm like, oh, that's just like the body is telling you something. I'm not saying it's chemicals, it's telling you something. There's our guts are just, gut health is so important. And the all of our organs for that matter is important, but they're all telling us something. You know, if you're not sleeping at night, what is going on? Why are you not sleeping? I'm not getting into this in this conversation, but electromagnetic fields are a huge problem. And I've interviewed many people on this, and too many people have electromagnetic fields all around them while they're sleeping. And if you're not turning your cell phone off at night, or at least in airplane mode, or putting it at least 10 feet away, or putting it in another bedroom, because I have a lot of people, my kids, if they call me, you know, so those are constantly sending waves. If kids are sleeping with phones, I always tell people, parents, get them away from the kids. They do not need to sleep with their phones. Those are sending waves. Wi-Fi, same thing. If you can turn your Wi-Fi off at night, great. A lot of people can't. I personally don't because it's way over in another room. But I had I had a clock that was blue. The blue clock. When I did this interview, he's like, get rid of the blue clock, buy a clock that has red, because I have bad vision. So I needed something so I can see what time it is. So those little things in life that you look at what are your issues, instead of taking sleeping pills, which, of course the pharmaceutical companies want you to take sleeping pills. Why are you not sleeping? Could it be all the chemicals that are in your body and your organs are constantly trying to fend them off all night, So these are just some things for people to like wake up and think, oh, why do I have that sore throat? Anyway, so those are just some little tips to help people maybe take, a little baby step in the right direction.
Yeah. Oh my
Sorry,
God.
that was a mouthful. That was a lot.
It's so good though, T. Oh my gosh. I actually just started working with a functional medicine person because
Mm,
I
fabulous.
I have all of those things. Like I didn't sleep for like 35 years.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and I am of that age where things are changing, but like,
Yep.
she was telling me that that the liver gets clogged very easily
Mhm.
because of all the everything, the chemicals, the hormones, the fats or whatever, like it just gets clogged and then it's just like you're overworking your liver and then it's like sending out signs. It's sending out signals and we're ignoring them.
Yes.
And then we see the
Yes.
doctor and the doctor gives us pills for whatever. Um,
Right.
because
And more chemicals going into our bodies with
I
more
was on
pills.
sleep meds for
Yeah.
15, 20 years. But so all these things. And so that's why I'm like working on, slowly like taking one thing out. I've just, I'm letting go of meds and I'm working toward, I'm going to start working on cleaning out my liver and doing all these, cool things and just seeing where my body sits and how I can help to mend it on its own. But I'm learning so many things. And you were talking about the endocrine inhibitors. Is that what?
Endocrine disruptors.
Disruptors. Yeah, I was actually on my way to do this this conversation. I was in the car and I was listening to a podcast about hormones, and they were actually just
Mm,
talking about that. And with personal products, like how much plastics and chemicals are in there that they're flammable, like literally flammable, because of all the
yeah.
junk in them. And I was like,
Yeah.
I did not know that. But just all the things that I'm learning, just a little bit at a time, everyone that I'm talking to, I'm like, whoa. Like
I
we've been
know.
sold some garbage and we've been putting
Yeah.
it into our bodies and on our bodies. And we just need to, work on cleaning out and just like, these chemicals didn't used to be here. People still cleaned,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
they still wore clothes and they still survived. Like somehow it worked out. But now we've got all these chemicals that are, higher tech and smart and we're, cleaning better but it's also to our detriment.
It
I
is.
seriously, the tea bags killed me.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Isn't that crazy? I mean, a Band-Aid's me. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I never even thought about that. But where the chemical companies came from and how they developed. I mean, they've been around for a while and there's good chemicals. I'm not opposed to all of them. There's some that are somewhat safe. We will never know that. They'll tell us they're all safe.
Natural.
Um, and somebody will say, a company might say, well, this has been tested and it's safe for your body. Well, if that's, like I said to you, if that's the only product that you're using, then yes, okay, I will agree with you. But combine that with the other products a woman puts on her body, just on. This is not what you breathe in outside. This is not what you're eating. On your body, an average of 168 chemicals a day. One day. A man is more like 100. I think they're more like 130, 120, 30, whatever. So that's just what you're putting on your skin. So your skin is your largest organ. You're putting chemicals on your skin from everything, from lotions to nail polish to makeup to hairspray to shampoo to deodorant to shaving cream, whatever. And that's what you really want to pay attention to, especially as a woman. And everything that we use is potentially tainted in some. I mean, tampons are horrible what they're putting. How about the ones that they have sense to them? Think about where that's going. And it's just, but the beauty of all this is there's alternatives, and there's lots of alternatives, and there's great alternatives. It's so exciting, the alternatives. I mean, I had to search high and low for alternatives for most of my life. And now I try different products all the time. I love them. You know what, I don't make a penny off of it, but it's an Amazon store. I think on my website, it's called my Healthy Living store. It's all everything that I would say is okay on Amazon that people can buy.
Oh, that's cool.
Every category possible. And because people would come to me and say, what face lotion do you recommend? So then I spent, oh God, weeks and weeks. And I just put in there all these different products, baby products to men's products to women's products that I feel are okay.
Mhm.
They're safe enough to use for your personal care products. And there's cleaning products on there too. Unfortunately, Teas Organics is not on there yet. You can only order that through the website, but it's starting to make small changes and paying attention to everything you're using, you know. We're not perfect, but pay attention to, especially that word fragrance. It's the first word. My girlfriend, I mean, these are girlfriends that I've had for 30, 40 years, sent me her face lotion and said, well, the dermatologist told me that this is the best thing to use as we age. And I said, send me the ingredient list. And she wanted to know my opinion on it. First of all, they're probably getting paid by that company, I'm guessing, in some way or another, but that's how they're trained. They're trained to say, yeah, because it's a pharmaceutical company. I mean, it's not something you're going to
They
buy.
own the world. They own the
They own
world.
the world. They actually own the educational books that they study from too. But the one word, I said, Kathy, I don't have to look any further. It has the word fragrance in it. I mean, you're putting on your skin something that potentially a lot of the fragrances have carcinogens in them. I can't say one way or another, but I know that a lot of them have been tested. And what else are these chemicals in fragrance doing? So I said, I see other items on there I would never put on my skin. My sister said, if I can't pronounce it, I'm not putting it on my skin, and I'm definitely not eating it.
Right.
So, I mean, those are just some little things to look at, you know. Look up some of the ingredients on some of the products that you're using. I mean, it's going into your body. I mean,
Mhm.
if you're putting it on your skin, it's going in somewhere, you know. So
Right. I mean, I know I do this now. Now I'm like way more aware. Like when I'm buying, I gotta go back to shampoo bars. um because that was my first really big switch. And it's been so easy. And I mean, and you can bring them on a plane also because they're not liquid. Um,
right,
uh,
right.
but I will look at the label and I'll be like, I don't even know what these things are. I don't know what these things are. And someone was like, oh, well, that's coconut oil. I'm like, why don't you call it coconut oil?
Yeah,
Call it coconut.
exactly. Yeah.
Why do you have to use the chemical-ish name?
Yeah, that's tricky because they'll say, "Oh, that's so and so. This is so and so." I'm like, I don't buy it
Yeah.
unless it's 100% organic coconut oil. And by the way, coconut oil is the best at so many uses for it. I oil pull every morning. I use it to go in the sun. Supposedly, it's got eight SPF. Um, I go in the sun. I love the sun. I do
Well,
not.
you have that Lebanese skin, right?
I do, but I will use sunscreen, but only certain ones. I think people have been sold that the sun is causing cancer. Unfortunately, people are putting on sunscreen that have
Everything chemical.
carcinogen and chemicals, and you're baking these in your skin. Can't be good. And recently they found benzene in sunscreen. So I don't trust any of that. But coconut oil, I put on my skin at night. I love it. And some people love to use it as a lubricant too, just an FYI. It's natural. I mean, it's just wonderful. It's just, I put it on my cuticles. If I have a little cut, it can be antiseptic as well. So coconut oil, I go through a lot of it.
Hmm, that's interesting. Cool.
Organic.
Yep, of course. I mean, and another label thing that I've been just paying attention to, there are a lot of things that say natural and artificial flavorings or whatever.
Oh,
My gosh, don't even.
no. So the word natural flavors on anything you eat is the same thing with fragrance on cleaning supplies and personal care products. They do not have to tell you what those natural flavors are.
Even though the EPA or the not the EPA, the FDA.
Look it up. It's unbelievable to me. It's so scary. And if they, and a lot of these products, not food items, but a lot of products will say, if they use that it's scented with essential oils, because people, of course, greenwashing, they think, oh, if it's scented essential oils,
Oh,
it's
that's
okay. It doesn't have fragrance in it. The problem is they only need to use 2% of essential oils to be allowed to put that on their label.
there are so many different grades of essential oils.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I mean, they could put in a drop and say, oh, scented with lemon essential oils. Read the label and look and see what really is in there. And it's just, anytime you have the word natural on anything, be careful. Run the other way is what I say.
Well, and artificial for sure.
Yep. Yep.
So that's really interesting. I mean, it's bugged me because I don't, it just makes me nervous when someone says natural and artificial. I'm like,
Right.
so which is which? Um, but and then to think that the FDA is testing, approving whatever they're doing, uh, and then these things are still going through. Like I just, I'm
It's crazy.
I'm gonna I've admitted this on the podcast before, but I'm gonna tell you, T, I love mac and cheese. I
So do we. And
but like
that's okay.
even the boxed mac and cheese, I'm like it's so genius that it's just dry and it tastes so good to me, and I don't have to do like two pots to make it. Um, but I've also I heard, and this is probably super old news. I don't watch the news, so I'm like behind on things, but like Europe has banned a lot of the stuff that's in the cheese.
Mhm.
But the US, even though we have the FDA, still lets us have that. So like
Yeah.
that, I mean, I'm glad that they're there. I don't have a lot of faith in something saying FDA approved.
Well, if you dig deep to who's running everything, Monsanto, huge player in the chemical market, has hired people that used to work at the FDA. They hire people from all these organizations. A lot of money back there that they're constantly getting in the pockets of our politicians. So love my country, but we have to really look at what we are feeding ourselves, and pay attention to what you're putting in your bodies. You can't trust what's on the market that is safe for you.
Right. Oh gosh. And that's really hard, and it's very political, and I don't really feel like we need to get into that much, but
No, no, no. It's always going to be there. I mean, no doubt. Even it's just the way life is. People are always going to use money to try to convince people something's okay. So you have to be vigilant, and you got to pay attention for yourself. So
yeah. So I want to be mindful of your time, T, but this has been so fascinating for me. I'm like I said, I'm new on this journey, and I'm just starting to dip my toes in it. But so you've given so much information. But I want to talk about your podcast a little bit. So Green Living with T. Is this more of this conversation? Do you get into
yes, yes, yes. A lot of it. I always interview people that are either putting some really great products out there that had a health issue, or scientists or doctors or somebody in the industry, even somebody that really understands all these, how to be healthier on an everyday basis, and tips from all of them. I mean, I even learn from them all the time too. It's pretty interesting to me. Parkinson's, I interviewed a doctor that is doing studies in University of Rochester and wrote a book and thinks it's coming from the pesticides. And so there's fascinating things out there, and why you should be avoiding some of this stuff. And hopefully you're not spraying your lawn with pesticides, because these chemical company says that dandelions are not good. So it's interesting information. I love it. I interview people from all over the world, for that matter. So it's fun.
I does it get I personally for you, does it get hard? Like, is it hard to, I mean, I know that you like make your own food and you do your cleaning and stuff like that, but is it hard for you to go into life knowing, I'm just thinking like
Good question.
doing a podcast where you're digging so deep and finding all these things, like, do you struggle with talking to people? Or
No, that's
like,
a really good question, because, or do they struggle talking to me because they know
yes,
that I'm like, analyzing everything,
analyzing, yes.
which I do, believe me. I go into everybody's, I'm invited to people's homes, obviously, all the time, friends' homes. Does my eye go around that house
Are you
and
judging?
look at things? Immediately they do. I go to the bathroom and I see the hand soap they're using, and I'm like, ugh. I don't say anything
Right.
unless they want me to say something, unless they say, can you tell me what to clean, and I do that often for people. And unless something really I can't handle, like I have a very hard time with people that sleep and their clothes are covered in fragrance. I can't even hug them, and I will tell them, because then
I
I
can
will,
tell you from a mile away. I
oh,
don't,
I can smell it from a mile. And I will then have that scent on me, and I will have to take off my clothes and shower, because it's that potent.
well, if you're
So
not sensitive to it because you,
yeah, yeah. Or perfume. If somebody's got perfume, oh, I have a girlfriend that wears it and I can't get her to not. I'm like, she still puts it on her thyroid, and she's got so many health issues. And I try my best. And I pray and I pray and I pray that they don't get cancer from these chemicals that they're putting on themselves and sleeping in, but they have health issues. And some listen to me and some don't. And I only try my best. So yeah, I mean, when I go to an Airbnb, I bring my own sheets. I barely even ask them anymore what laundry detergent they're using, because typically they all use, the junk that's out there, but the cheapest, stuff. But it's yeah, and I love it, because I have so many friends, and actually people that I don't even know that'll send me messages like, you helped me change my life, because I never knew how bad it was until I switched over, and I can't believe I was sleeping in these chemicals. And I can't even be around them anymore. And you start to realize that, because you start feeling a lot better about things. So anyway,
wow.
did I answer your question?
100%. Yeah, I mean, I think of like, and I've said this before, but like in the beginning of COVID, when the news was like bombarding us and 24/7,
Mm,
like more people are getting sick, more people are dying, the hospitals are overloaded, like that type of thing. And it was just hard to, I stopped watching the news because I was like, I was
yeah.
having panic attacks, like just
Oh, yeah.
I can't leave my house. Um, and so I just imagine like if you're having these really in-depth conversations about all the chemicals and stuff, like how are you able to be around other people? Like are you like silently judging, or do you give information, give advice, stuff like that, but you're saying you don't unless they ask you,
Yeah. Unless they ask me. Now,
or if they
granted,
smell really bad.
all my friends, my family's like this too, by the way, and my nieces. And so everybody's on the same boat. One of my nieces, her fiance, and it's pretty funny. He'll be here tomorrow actually for the solar eclipse, but he's finally stopped using his fragrance laundry detergent. And he'd come over here and I'm like, oh, Matt, I can't even hug you. And it's turned into this big joke. Well, now he's like so proud of himself that he's now no more. And you know what? He realized, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I was like sleeping. But they were brought up that way. And our senses, our smell is so powerful that you associate nice things with that smell. And it's hard to get rid of that. It is. I totally get that. But you will eventually realize how nice it smells not to have that scent around you
Like
anymore.
other things smell better because you don't have this like
Oh gosh. You know what? I
force
smell my
field.
laundry and I'm like, it just smells like clothes. It doesn't, it doesn't smell like anything.
Yeah.
I love
And then you can
that,
smell like flowers and what you're eating and stuff like that because you don't
Yes.
have this I don't even know like a force field or whatever. Uh
Yes.
so I'm curious to so this you grew up with your mom or your family grew up this way and this
Mhm.
was your grandmother that sent this down, is that right?
Yep.
Was
Yep.
she Lebanese or was she Italian?
My grandmother was Lebanese. My grandfather was Italian.
Okay, so the cleaning, this whole where did it stem from, the Lebanese part of you or your family or the Italian part? Do you know?
More on my Lebanese side, my grandmother, she home cooked everything. And my mother and my mother worked at the co-op, so she probably learned a lot there as well, and making her own things. And um, my father was Irish, and so my father's side of the family was pretty unhealthy. All of his siblings died 45, 55, 60. My dad lived till he was 93. And she changed him. And it was so great to see him change. I mean, it took years, trust me, get
Oh,
rid of his bologna sandwiches and his macaroni and cheese. But he eventually cooked really good macaroni and cheese, and we all loved it. I have his recipe if you ever want it.
oh, I
Um,
love mac and cheese and I do
it's
make it,
fabulous. It's
but
great. Yeah.
there's something like I just yeah, I just don't always have the feeling. I hate washing dishes too.
You pick your poisons, right? Pick what's put, it's what is my weakness? Probably French fries. Ate them the other night. My husband's like, man, you ate a lot of French fries. Like, yeah, I'm making up for the ones I haven't had for about 6 months.
Right?
So, but French fries are awesome. And what are they baked in? I don't know, but
Right. I mean, just like the
did I
whole
pay for it? Yeah, I felt a stomachache.
right stuff like that. Like, why don't people? There has to be a way that people can enjoy it done healthier. Is what I
Totally.
that's
Absolutely.
sort of my point. But I guess people just like it cheap.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, they're sold that, it's part of our society. It's part of the marketing of all these products out there. So it's not always our fault. Um, they're convincing us. Advertising. We are bombarded with I watch TV and I'm like, oh my God, they're just selling us pharmaceutical drugs. Look at the commercials if you're watching TV tonight, tomorrow, whenever. The amount of commercials that are out there for all these problems that people are having.
two every commercial break.
At least it's crazy. And take this for this problem, take this for this problem. That and like, oh my God, the money behind drug companies
And
is
it just
just
kills me when you see those, and if you're paying attention, they will tell you about the side effects.
oh, but they'll talk this, and that's the side effect. Oh, thanks. You sped it up for the really important part.
Yeah. I mean, my doctor just not too long ago prescribed me a medication and I was looking at the after I brought it home, I was looking at the side effects. I'm like, permanent vision damage is
Yeah,
possible. I'm like, I am not willing to risk that
yeah,
for
crazy.
anything.
Yeah. Believe
And
me,
having brittle bones, I'm like,
I have friends that take thyroid medicine. And I try to tell them, let's look at what is causing the problems with your thyroid. But you know what? I can't convince everybody everything. I try my best, so.
But I love your idea though, just to go way back to the beginning when you were talking about not treating symptoms, but getting to why and being
Yeah,
and preventing
right,
to begin with, like let's not even have symptoms.
right, right.
Just take better care of
Exactly.
ourselves and look out
Yep,
for what we're putting in our bodies and on our bodies and um just preventing all these chemicals from that will make us sick to just not have to even have that conversation later on.
exactly, exactly.
But
Yeah.
but this is, oh my gosh, this is fascinating. I could talk to you for hours because boy,
Well, you have me, so you know where
no,
to get me.
I
I
know
love
you've got
helping people.
stories and I've got stories and we could go around and around. I think it would be super fun. But thank you so much first for sharing all of this.
You're
And
welcome.
I'm excited that that you said also that on your website you have an Amazon like shopping list of or list of things that you would purchase or that you would recommend. So I do definitely encourage folks to check out T's website. And all the information is going to be in the show notes. But so go to the website, which is
thegreenlivinggurus.com, and I have a shop tab up top that lists everything and all the products that I would highly recommend you looking into.
okay for making changes for sure. That's awesome.
Yep.
And what is it? What are the things that T's Organics sells?
So we have an all-purpose cleaner, and it's in a blue cobalt glass bottle, because you always want essential oils in a dark glass bottle because it extends the life, and otherwise they're really not that effective. But so that's the all-purpose cleaner, and then I have a refill in a blue glass cobalt bottle, so you can keep the first bottle you buy and then just add the refill, and then all you have to do is add purified water, hopefully. And then I have 3 room sprays. I call them room sprays, 3 different scents, but they're for your
Fragrance.
room. What's that?
Don't say fragrance.
No fragrance. And all the ingredients are listed on the label. We don't hide anything, but they're great for like hockey bags, a car, a locker, college dorm, anywhere there's like
Shoes.
the bathroom, of course, is great. Shoes for sure. Dog bed, although you have to be careful with essential oils in dogs. But so those are the only products I have so far. I have visions of some more down the road, but those are the ones that are for sale on my website.
Awesome. And I love that your mom worked for a co-op. I think
Yeah.
that I
And
think
we all still shop there. It's bigger now. It's much bigger. It's great. It's like a little mini Whole Foods, but yeah, it's still our little Lexington co-op in Buffalo, New York.
need more of those, I think. And so what does the word sustainability mean to you when I say that, T?
Doing something each and every day to help our world become a cleaner, greener place. And that is from using your dollar to make a difference.
Mm,
And whether it's recycling or paying attention to what you're putting in that garbage bag, that you are making a difference.
mm.
And anything that goes into our garbage, I am always conscious of like, okay, what's going to happen to this piece of whatever?
20
Is
years.
it going to, yeah, is it going to disintegrate, or is it going to go to a landfill? I mean, so those are things that I pay attention to. I mean, I think about our toothpaste. I just came to my head because I don't buy toothpaste anymore. I buy these small little things that are called bites, and I grind it up in my teeth and then I brush my teeth with it. But the amount of toothpaste containers that are going into the ocean, look that up online. When I found that out, I was like, oh my gosh, our poor fish. So our water, I didn't even touch on that. I won't touch on it. But if you want to really see what's in your water, go to Environmental Working Group and just Google EWG water. It will show you, once you put your zip code in, what chemicals are in the water that is we are supposedly drinking every day, unless you have reverse osmosis, which I highly recommend. But it's there. It's apparent. We are inundated from everything we do all day long. And if we can make some of those changes, we are going to leave the planet in a better place than it was before.
Yeah, and I also want to just put a plug in for those bites, or the, what's the other, HIPAA?
There's a bunch of them now, which is awesome.
Yeah, those also do not count as liquid on planes. Just saying.
Yeah, right. I love it.
Really.
Yep. Yep.
And you can refill. You can get refills.
Yep.
I just,
Mine just came yesterday.
I'm a big fan of that. I actually make my own tooth powder because someone gave me a recipe for that, and because I just, the chewing the tablets is really hard on my crappy teeth. So
My husband didn't like it either, so I have the powder as well. Yeah.
just the pressure actually, goes right to my nerves. But so I use a tooth powder, and you were talking about earlier the natural like antibiotic stuff. Oh, your ginger and
Rosemary, lemon. Yep.
so the tooth powder that I use has cinnamon and cloves in it, so the
Oh,
natural
those
antibiotic.
are my, actually cinnamon clover are also in the one of the 7 essential oils, which are great. So those are in your powder. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how well they're doing, but also like baking soda, there's like, I have a fine organic baking soda in it, and that baking soda is good for the pH in your mouth. So
Yes, it is. Yep.
breaking down your teeth, which
Look at you. You know all this.
I'm learning.
I'm impressed.
Someone gave me the recipe. I'm like, why even is that? But and I actually just learned that from the dentist, that baking soda is good for the pH in your mouth.
Yes.
But so I am a big fan of make your own as often as possible. So I mean, buy natural, buy, better products. If you're able to make it, it's even better because you can make larger amounts for cheaper.
Yep.
But gosh, I cannot wait to, I feel like I'm going to like binge your podcast, which is take a long time because you said 4 years.
4 years. I go back to the first year and I'm like, whoa, I've learned a lot from, but you know what? That's how you learn and you start. I just, even my podcast, I started small. I didn't know what I was doing. And that's the same thing anybody can do on this, detoxing your life, your house, or low tox, because we'll never get rid of all the toxins, but take it slow
Yeah.
and one step.
Oh my gosh. So all of this has been so incredible. I wanted to say unbelievable and incredible at the same time.
Thank you.
But for me, this has just been just so, it's so good to like feel empowered. Like, there's chemicals and everything, there's plastics and everything, but then to give options, go to the website, get it on Amazon. These are the things that I've tested and tried and I
Yep.
believe in. Also, you can make your own, you can find it at the farmer's market or whatever, but like there are options. So don't feel like there's nothing that we can do at this point,
Exactly.
for the toxins in our world. Like we can do a lot. There's a lot we can do. And so thank you for all of that information.
You're welcome.
If people want to find UT and learn, listen to the podcast, you said it's called Green Living with T, and the website you said is thegreenlivinggurus.com.
Correct.
Are you on the socials?
I'm everywhere on social. You'll find all the links on the website, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I'm probably more active on Instagram and Facebook. And then there's also a private group, or it's called Healthy Living and Toxic Free on Facebook. And I'm pretty accessible. I mean, if somebody reaches out, I usually will be able to reach back too. So I like to help people as much as I possibly can.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is, I'm like, I feel a little teary. I'm honestly, but I'm
Uh,
so grateful for this conversation with you and to be able to share this because and it also it's encouraging me and it feels kind of I feel a little bit justified in the things that I've been doing. Uh validated, not justified. I feel validated in what I've been doing. So I really appreciate that. And thank you so much for all you're doing for, I mean, I don't know how much money you're making out of this, but what a gift to the world to be able to
Not a lot,
share these,
trust me,
to
but
share
I do it
these.
out of the passion and kindness of my heart. You know, someday if I have books and they can sell and make some money to help everything, great. But it's really what I set out for in my life. And if it's going to help people like you and others down the road, you know, we all have to lean on one another. We can't trust everything that's out there.
Right.
And I'm thankful for people like you too that are open and can, you know, spread the word too.
Yeah. Is your mom still around?
No, interesting enough, my mother swam in a swimming pool that was so chlorinated her whole entire life. Every morning, 7 a.m., she went to this center and she knew it was toxic. She knew how bad it was, but that was her thing in her life that she had to have. And she'd come home and we'd come home from school like, oh, you smell like chlorine. We couldn't even hug her. And she hated that so much. And she took baths every day in vinegar and powdered milk, dried milk. And that because that soaks out the chemicals.
Mm.
And she tried and tried and she lived until she was 80. She turned 80, July of 2010. So she died 14 years ago. And we knew it was going to eventually kill her. But she couldn't resist. And here's our mother that taught us all about this, but it eventually broke down her nervous system, which is what chlorine can do. It's a neurotoxin. And she eventually died of ALS related type illness. And we knew. And unfortunately, she died at I thought at 80, she was a very young 80-year-old.
Yeah. Well, probably
So,
because of the exercise, I would assume. I mean, that's, it's so tricky that there's like chemicals in the water to make it safe.
horrible. The
But
amount they
that
put in, the
but
amount.
exercise is
Yeah.
encouraged. And
Yeah.
so, swimming is such a great exercise for the whole body. And but then you're also like taking in all that stuff.
I know. I can't even go in
Double-edged
a
sword.
chlorinated pool, not only because it's so toxic, it's hard for me to even smell that because it just reminds me so much of, her and what eventually broke down her body. She was so healthy. And then my dad lived till he was 94, somebody that was
He was
not the
born-
healthiest growing up, but he was great. He was so fun. He was just,
Oh.
yeah. So
What was,
anyway,
what was your
yeah,
mom's name?
my mother's name, Mary Magdalene Haroni.
Bless you, Mary, for
Yep.
learning all these things.
Yes. Thank you. Yep. She is. Everybody that sees me says, you look just like your mother. I'm like, I am my mother. If you saw my mother, you'd say, oh my God, you look just like her. So it's fun.
Wow.
I carry on this uh, mission of hers.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
was a very hard for her to do.
Right.
And she did it. And here we are. So
Right. I mean, I feel like with the toxins, it is something that we can start small on, but I think that also it's an easy switch because
it
it's
is.
it's a
It is.
purchase or it's a make and you have it. It's not and it's just
Yeah.
a different product. It's not like you have to change your life or change a habit or anything like that. It's literally just buying something and using that instead.
It actually is fun. And the majority of the people that I've helped. You have fun with it. You can go down that rabbit hole. And once you do, you will be on a mission to get rid of as much as possible, because then you'll start reading, you'll start seeing, and there's a lot of false information out there. You have to be careful. And a lot of companies trying to, make it sound like their product's okay, and don't listen to, all these people, but listen to yourself, listen to your gut, listen to what your body is telling you. Our bodies are amazing what they can tell us. They're also amazing with what they can get rid of too. But 168 chemicals a day and 80,000 chemicals in our environment, and everything else that we are inundated with all throughout the day, right when you walk out of the house. So it's not good.
So we have to do what we can to just eliminate as much as possible. Start small.
Exactly. Try your best.
And just
and there's a lot of information out there, not just what I'm sharing. Gosh, there's so many other organizations. Look up Environmental Working Group. They have been around decades, and they have a lot of great information out there for people that want to start on this journey of figuring out products and better products that they can use.
Right. Yeah.
Another one that is my favorite is madesafe.org. They test products. Anything that they recommend, it has gone through stringent testing by scientists to make sure there's no chemicals in there that can cause any kind of harmful health issues. And they're semi-new.
Madesafe.com.
I think it's .org.
Madesafe.org.
Okay. Yeah.
That's really good to know. I mean, it's so hard to know there, especially with the internet and, Facebook and whatever, like people can say whatever they want, and to try to discern which is, being honest and helpful, and what is just like, this sounds right.
Right. Yeah.
So it's good to hear from you what you would recommend to look at for stuff like that.
Yep. And I'm not perfect either. Trust me. I mean, I try my best. And even, products that I use once in a while, somebody will bring something in the house, I guess. And you just have to be mindful and definitely look at that ingredient. So
that's all we can do.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you again, T. Oh my gosh, this has been, I love this. And I have learned so much. So I'm
glad that you got a lot out of it. And I love making connections, and glad that we have a Buffalo, Maine connection now.
Yes. Yeah. So definitely have fun at the eclipse tomorrow.
Thank you. Yes, we will. Hopefully it's gonna be sunny, but thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely.